Good morning, everybody. This is Mark again at Morningside Farmers Market. We got this week's segment of the recipe, forefront recipe. What we're featuring today, delicata squash. Delicata is also called sweet potato squash. It's an Italian term for delicate or difficult, depending on how much you can cook with it. Also, another Italian item. This is the Covno di Toro heirloom sweet pepper. The recipe includes both of these. Very simple. You're taking delicata squash, basically at least 6 of this size, at least 3 Covno di Toro sweet peppers, 1 onion, at least a teaspoon or more of fresh rosemary if you can get it. Otherwise, dried rosemary will work okay. You're going to cut all those up fairly like size. The skin stays on for the delicata. It's really thin. You can even eat it raw. It roasts really nicely, brings a nice fiber and flavor to the whole dish. But you roast all of this in a pan, flip it one time. Usually I use ghee or butter with some extra virgin coconut oil. Sprinkle some sea salt on there. Turn it one time to get the tips to brown really evenly. If you can, that's ideal. If you burn it a little bit on some points, it's fine because it'll add more richness to the flavor. Once that's done, throw it into your food processor or into a pot if you have a hand blender, otherwise into a food processor. Then you add organic broth of your choice. I used the organic chicken broth. Any of the other organic broths will work depending on what your preference is. And then coconut milk. 1 can of coconut milk is the basic ratio to this. The ratio is always your own. You can always change these things up. It's not going to dramatically affect the recipe. I like the contrast, the sharp contrast of the rosemary against the coconut milk. So I use at least a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons in this recipe. You can cut that back if you want to. Get all that into the pot or to the food processor, puree it up, and then simmer it for about 20 minutes. Serve it. It's going to taste as rich as if it had meat. There is no meat in this at all. I know it's summer, it's warm, you know we're going to be 95 today. Soup and summer don't necessarily go together. The reason why I'm bringing this up for you guys is that delicata is a summer squash. It's not a winter squash like butternut. So basically a 3-week shelf life. It's much more fragile than other squashes. 3-week shelf life. Going into mid-fall, you have the African butternuts coming. The delicata is long gone by then. So I'm bringing this up so you can make a batch big enough, have a couple portions during the summer, and throw the rest in your freezer. You've already spent the time and you spent the money on the energy. So it's very practical. What you're really going to enjoy is it's very rich, very special.
That sounds fantastic. Now you just made some for a dinner party. How did your guests like it?
You know, my whole house ends up being the guinea pig for the new things that I try, and I just said, well, you know, if they don't like this, I'm just going to eat the whole pot during wintertime, and I don't have to do that because it went over really nicely, and I got thumbs up from everybody. Oh yeah, by the way, this will make a best friend out of your mother-in-law. So there you go.
Well, we all want our mother-in-laws to be our best friends.
Yeah, always.
Well, so tell us, where can we find these vegetables and when? Tell us a little bit about where we're at.
Right here, this is Crystal Organic Farm, one of the founding members of Morningside Farmers Market. We've been here going on 20 years now. For those of you that are not familiar with Morningside, every farm here, whatever we sell, we got to grow ourselves. And that means that we can't go to a wholesaler and buy something organic and then bring it over here and resell it. We have to grow it ourselves. The certifiers do annual inspections, but also the board for Morningside can do inspections of any farm in addition to that.
And when is Morningside Farmers Market? Where's it at?
Morningside Farmers Market every Saturday morning. Summer hours are 7:30 to 11:30. Winter hours, half an hour later, 8 o'clock to 11:30. Also, we have a weather contingency in place. If there is a hard winter like we had last year, we had a nice little tight congregating of farmers in the basement of this building, and it's kind of fun. Even though it's really tight, you can come in there, have your coffee, walk around, and be able to get your produce not exposed to the elements, because if we open a box of greens and it's 30 degrees outside, it starts freezing right away.
So this is different than most farmers markets. Most farmers markets are not open 52 weeks a year, but this one is.
Yes, that's what makes us unique as well. We started out that way, being certified organic year-round, and that's always been our goal.
Are all the fruits and vegetables here organic?
Yes, everything's organic, certified organic.
So that's different, all the fruits and vegetables being certified organic.
Yeah, like David, there's a lot of markets out here where they have some really top-notch organic farmers. But the drawback is for people that are not familiar with that entire market, when they're shopping, they may get the perception that all the produce for every farmer is organic because one is. That's more often the case where you have, what is it, naturally certified. You have some who just don't even show certification and they claim that they're organic. In those cases, you can bet that they're not organic, but they're just trying to capitalize on the fact that organic costs more, and it does cost more to produce. It's very labor intensive. And as you know, the droughts in California, even in the organic industry, are really affecting the availability and the prices for organic produce across the nation.
Well, one of the things I find as a customer is when I shop here, you're harvesting your vegetables very close to the Saturday that you're market, and I find that they last all week in my refrigerator crisper. So
yeah, we've had people say even some of our lettuces, throw them in the crisper bin if you're not going to finish it all off that week. We've had people, and I've had the experience regularly too, where in the crisper bin I have been able to get 2 weeks out of our lettuces. And for conventionally grown lettuce, that rarely ever happens. And this is with no special treatment. It's just the process of growing it. If you have good input into it, then you're going to have a good product at the end. And like, again, as Hippocrates said, let food be your medicine, medicine be your food. That's what I live for. That's why I want to share this with all of you guys here. We're going to try to keep these recipes updated every week, and as David has mentioned, once the front page gets updated for the Morningside site, you then go to the archive section under videos, and you can go to all the back recipes there, and of course you can find me on YouTube.
And you've been here for quite some time. You've got to know a lot of the customers. How do you describe the customers who shop here?
You know, this is like my second family here. I really, my time spent on the farm makes sense to me when I get here and see you all, because then I'm able to bring all the things that we're doing over there, all the little subtleties, as interesting or as for some as boring as they may be. I share that with all you guys so you understand how the food's grown, what's gone into it. The nutrient content also really important. This is because you are what you eat. I want you guys to know what's in that particular vegetable that you're eating. Most of the recipes that I try to share with you, and that you guys have been sharing with me, which I've been telling everybody else about, most of them are either no meat at all or they have very little of it. Because you can always have the meat as your main dish, but if the meat is in everything on that plate, then you're getting too much exposure to animal protein. And there's been solid science and statistics to support studies done in China, studies done in post-World War II Germany that corroborate all this, that you get a certain ratio of protein to the overall caloric intake. Once you break that plateau, then all the other diseases start to increase with it.
Well, I'll tell you, as a customer, it's one of the things I find really special about Morningside Farmers Market, getting a chance to talk with you as a farmer, to get a chance to talk with each one of the farmers and actually know you and get to know the people who are producing the food that we eat. And that's really fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David. Enjoy, everybody.